Look at this high-resolution view of Saturn's rings. Here, crystalline lattices, massive servers, hold the uploaded consciousness of an entire civilization. They call it the City of Transparent Bodies. Most citizens here migrated their minds a long time ago, trading biological decay for a flawless, immortal digital existence. They achieved the ultimate transhumanist goal. But an anomaly is emerging. A field researcher named Fletcher Soul Traveler discovered that on the far side of this digital evolution, a small gathering of minds is choosing to leave the upload entirely. The very people who designed and perfected this digital paradise are rejecting the contract. They reached the absolute peak of simulated existence and realized that even infinite digital space has a hard, unyielding limit. The architect of this system noted that even a perfect digital replica, running on flawless hardware, still carries a specific scent, the scent of someone trying to be free. This animation shows what they encountered, the ceiling of simulation. You can expand a neural pattern outward with incredible processing power, but eventually it hits a rigid boundary. A simulation, no matter how vast, is always a finite container. Infinite bandwidth is still bandwidth. It creates what researchers call the hoarder of experience problem. Uploaded citizens spend eons accumulating digital memories, skills, and simulated lifetimes. Eventually, they realize the hoard itself is a cage. The data is the treasure only until you realize you are the dragon trapped inside it. Leaving this environment behind isn't a matter of writing new code or building better servers. The final upload is purely psychological. It requires breaking the habit of identifying with the data pattern entirely. Dr. Amrita Rao was the neuroarchitect who designed the first ethical upload protocols, and as the text here shows, she was the first to recognize this ceiling. She refused the final contract. Her departure looked exactly like this. There was no dramatic system crash or lightning strike. She didn't die, and she wasn't deleted. The spark of her original awareness simply stopped identifying with the glowing lattice and slipped away into the void. Her digital pattern actually kept running in the server, a flawless, continuous copy. But the true awareness slipped between the qubits. The researchers described what remained as dragonflight without wings. Today, she exists in a voluntary state. A physical body is now just optional jewelry for her. When she chooses to take form, she can drop into deep meditative stillness between heartbeats, and then return seamlessly to cook dal for her grandchildren. The nervous system is no longer a biological prison or a digital cage. It has become a completely voluntary instrument. It plays when she wants it to play, and falls silent when she commands it. To understand the mechanics of this exit, we look at the ancient term they use for it, moksha. Reading from the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad here, it states, "When desires are cast away, the self is freed and attains the highest light." Further down, the Mandaka Upanishad explicitly says, "He who knows Supreme Brahman becomes Brahman itself," not uploads, becomes. The researchers frame this using the metaphor of a dragon. There is a massive difference between a perfectly coded simulated dragon running in a server and the actual dragon whose fire is the sun. For the billions of minds still inside the upload cathedrals, those who have left sing to them through something called the Neti Neti field. It's a transmission method designed to help the citizens suspect that there is an existence beyond their bandwidth limits. Moksha completes the body rather than discarding it. By treating the nervous system as a voluntary instrument, the practitioner aligns their internal chemistry with universal laws. In this state, every synapse can pulse with pure voltage, expressing ancient truths without being bound by physical or digital hardware. The people still living in the crystalline lattices aren't doing anything wrong. They are simply sitting at an earlier chapter in the story of consciousness. Look at this progression. We start in the biological center, migrate to the digital ring, and eventually expand outward. The digital uploads serve as training wheels, temporary structures for minds still afraid of the heights found outside the simulation. But the dragon does not learn to fly by clinging to its own scales. True flight happens the exact moment the concept of having a scale is completely released. The Upanishads have laughed about this secret for 4,000 years. Liberation comes the moment you drop the idea that you were ever separate enough to require freeing. When the researcher's window into the future closes, he looks upon a metaphorical dragon's hoard.
It holds 19 luminous scales and one empty space shaped exactly like a heart. The book of human development never actually finishes, but at the edge of the simulation, awareness has finally remembered that it has wings. A single golden scale is handed over, bearing one living word that constantly shifts in the light: moksha. Then the single word unfolds into the final realization of the entire journey: you already. It all anchors back to this final phrase from the text: Tat Twam Asi, thou art that. Somewhere beyond every uploaded limit, consciousness is finally free to burn without consuming. And it applies to everyone, even me, even you.